All right. I like to say shalom, shalom, shalom lakum, kal banyum, shal yashar Allah. Happy Shabbat, Ashar Shabbat. Uh, Today at sundown, we'll begin the memorial of blowing the trumpets, all right, to set off the high holy days for this month. This blowing the trumpet sets off the stage for the preparation for the end gathering, the end season of your harvest, the Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles. So this high holy day at sundown today will begin the blowing of the trumpets, which is a very important aspect of the customs and tradition of Israel. The trumpet was sounded for many reasons: to warn the people, to signal the people of upcoming events, the seasons, the different high holy days, impending enemies, and you have many different, how should I put it, sounds to it to warn the people. And also, too, it's also a trumpet that's going to be sounded for the gathering of Israel in the final and last days when Yahweh and the angels make their second return to gather Israel. Like the scripture said, the angels are going to sound the trumpet in that day, too. Also, too, in that day, too, when that trumpet is sounded, it's going to resurrect a lot of dead Israelites who have been dead, spiritually and physically dead, to awaken. That's the gathering of Israel for the preparation of our kingdom. So today's topic is going to be the blowing of the trumpets and the death of the apostles and the things that the apostles suffered and how they were killed, martyred by our enemies. The disciples, what you call apostles, sacrificed their life, and they laid down their life to forward this truth and to make sure this gospel was published throughout the earth. So we think we have it bad today? Nah, the disciples laid their life down for us. They paved the way for us so this truth could be established in the earth. And that's why when Yahushua comes back, he's going to put a lot of nations down. The nations going to pay for what they did. Okay? It's going to be a time of vengeance, payback. Okay? So we're going to go into our class. We're going to begin with Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. And we're going to start from the 23rd verse.
Leviticus chapter 23, verse 23. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation.
All right, so that's an holy convocation in the 7th month. All right, you shall have where we blow the trumpets. Like I said, the trumpets was blown for every new moon also too. All right, because this blowing a trumpet falls on a new moon, which tomorrow begins the new moon on the day of this trumpets. And that's when you blow those trumpets. All right, the trumpet was blown by the silver trumpets. All right, or you could blow it by blowing the shofar also too. That's one way, and which also the Most High gave us. He told us to make silver trumpets. All right, so from there, let's go to the book of Numbers, the 10th chapter. I want to show you the book of Numbers, the 10th chapter. We was told by Moses to make silver trumpets. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Numbers, the 10th chapter, and we're going to begin from the first verse. Numbers 10 and 1.
Numbers chapter 10, verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Make thee 2 trumpets of silver.
So he told Moses, make 2 trumpets of silver, of pure silver. All right, go ahead.
Of a whole piece shalt thou make them, that thou mayest use them for the calling of the assembly and for the journeying of the camps.
See, it was for the calling of the assembly, to call the assembly of the people together, and for the journey of the camps, when the camp is ready to journey forth or to move out. Okay, even in the military, they use the same thing too. Okay, during the time of the cavalry, they'll blow the bugle, all right, to let them know it's time to mount up, time to move out. All right. So you alert your troops or the camp to let them know it's time to move, to advance, to settle in, or to prepare for war. All right. So go ahead.
Verse 3, and when they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to thee at the door of the tabernacle.
So when they blow the trumpet, that was to assemble the congregation, because either information was going to be brought out, something important was going to be brought out. So you assemble the congregation. So the blowing of trumpets was used to assemble the congregation to let them know it's a new season, a new high holiday coming into preparation, and preparation for the upcoming events. So go ahead.
Of the congregation. Verse 4, and if they blow but with one trumpet, then the princes, which are heads of the household
of the thousands,
heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather themselves unto thee.
So they all knew when certain sound of the trumpet was blown, it was for certain specific occasions. All right, go ahead.
When ye blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the east part shall go forward.
See, so those were different signals to alert the different camps, because the camps were set up on the east. Actually, the camps were set up on the four cardinal points of the earth: east, west, north, and south. And the four positioning of the earth, the camps were situated or located or dispersed. Continue.
Verse 6, when ye blow an alarm the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall take their journey. They shall blow an alarm for their journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7, but when the congregation is to be gathered together, ye shall blow, but ye shall not sound an alarm.
See, you blow the trumpet, but you don't sound an alarm. So it's different variations of sound that you blow to alarm the people. All right. Sometimes it might be a long blow. Sometimes it might be a short spurt. It might be a long. When you blow that horn. So it's different sounds of blowing the horn to alert the people. And the people had to know these different variation sounds of the horn, for what purpose it was for. Continue.
Verse 8, and the sons of Aaron, the priest, shall blow with the trumpets, and they shall be to you for an ordinance forever throughout your generations.
So see what the Most High said? There shall be an ordinance forever throughout your generations. So this was something that was instituted throughout our generations by the Most High for us. Continue.
Verse 9, and if ye go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpets.
See, when you go to war, the trumpets was blown. All right. And when the angels return the second time, they're going to blow that trumpet. And that trumpet is going to sound, meaning they're coming for war against our enemies, to take our enemies down. Continue.
And ye shall be remembered before the Yahweh, your God, and ye shall be saved from your enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 10, also in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginning of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your Yahweh. I am the Lord your God.
All right. So this goes right in. Go to Psalms 83. Psalms 83, the 83rd chapter. Like it says, you shall blow the trumpet. You shall blow the trumpet in the day of your gladness, and in the solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months. The beginning of your months began the new moons, which began the new months. All right, let's go to Psalms 83. Psalm the 83rd chapter. All right, and that's a favorite scripture we read all the time when the new moon comes in. All right, Psalms 83. And let's start here from let's start from sorry, Psalms 81. Well, Psalms 81. I'm sorry. Psalms 81. And start from actually let's read the first verse.
Psalms 81, verse 1. To the chief musician upon Gittit, a psalm of Asaph. Sing aloud unto Yahweh our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the Yahweh of Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon.
See, it says, blow up the trumpet in the new moon. That's the beginning of your month. The new moon began the beginning of your months. All right, go ahead.
In the time appointed.
In the time appointed. All right, go ahead.
On your solemn feast day.
On your solemn feast days, whenever we have feast days. Okay, this blowing the trumpet is also a feast day. The Feast of Tabernacle is also a feast day. It's a time to be merry. It's a time for a joyous occasion, to rejoice in the Most High, to praise the Most High. But the only day that's not a feast is the Day of Atonement. But all the days, the beginning of the months, all the feast days were joyous occasions. All right, it was a time appointed on a solemn feast day. Go ahead.
Verse 4. For this was a statute for Israel.
It was a statute when we came out of Egypt that Moses instituted with the priests, the Levites. Go ahead.
And the law of the Yahweh of Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 5. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not.
All right. So we see that the purpose of the Feast of Tabernacles. All right. So that's to give you a basic understanding of the Feast of the Memorial blowing trumpets. So it's a feast day. It's a day to let you know that the time of your harvest is coming to an end, to start preparation for that season, for the end of the end gathering, where all the crops that you planted throughout the spring and summer, it's time to gather in all your crops into your barn and prepare for the season that's coming, because what's coming is the fall season. All right. So your crops doesn't go up to abundance like it does in the spring and summer. So you bring in all your crops into your barn and you get ready for that season. All right. In preparation for the winter season that's coming. Also, okay. And so the trumpet was sounded as a form of informing the people of the upcoming events. And the trumpet symbolically, in the sense of the future, represents the gathering of Israel in the end time from the lands that we've been scattered into. And we'll go into the scriptures and show you that the trumpet also represents where the angels going to blow the trumpet to gather Israel from all the lands of our captivity. And that's going to be the second coming of Yahushua and the reestablishing of the nation of Israel back in our homeland. So from there, let's go to the book of let's go from there, loose all those scriptures, all right, and let's go to the book of Isaiah 27. Isaiah, the 27th chapter. Isaiah 27, and we're going to start here from the 12th verse.
Isaiah 27, verse 12. And it shall come to pass in that day.
So it says, it shall come to pass. This is a future tense. It shall come to pass in that day. Go ahead.
That the Yahweh shall beat off from the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and he shall be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel.
We're going to be gathered one by one. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown.
Who's going to blow that trumpet? The angels. The angels going to blow that great trumpet in the day of Yahweh's second return to redeem and to deliver Israel. And also when he's coming to destroy our enemies and put our enemies down. Read that verse again.
Verse 13, and it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown, and they shall come which were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and the outcasts in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Yahweh in the holy mountain at Jerusalem.
See, so this is yet to be fulfilled. Okay, now from there, go to Isaiah the 18th chapter. Isaiah the 18th chapter. Isaiah the 18th chapter, and we're going to start here from the 3rd verse.
Isaiah 18, verse 3. All ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth.
So the Most High is saying, all ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth. So the Most High is letting the world know through Isaiah the prophet. Go ahead.
See, when he lifted up an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth a trumpet, hear ye.
So he says, when he lifted up an ensign onto the mountains, to the world governments, all the governments of the world, when he lift up that ensign, okay, right, and lift up an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth a trumpet, hear ye. When that trumpet is blown, they're going to hear this trumpet, right? Because he's going to be making it be known that he's coming to destroy the nations and the world governments and to reestablish the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
Verse 4. For so the Yahweh said unto me, I will make my rest.
I will take my rest.
I will take my rest, and I will consider in my dwelling place like a clear heat upon herbs, and like a cloud of dew in the heat of harvest. Verse 5. For the harvest, when the bud is perfect, and the sour grape is ripening in the flower, he shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks and take away and cut down the branches.
That's also, he's bringing his judgment upon the nations. He's going to cut them down. All right, go ahead.
Verse 6, they shall be left together unto the fowls of the mountains and to the beasts of the earth, and the fowls shall summer upon them.
What does that mean when they say the fowls shall summer upon them? The fowls going to eat, yeah, the eagles, all right, the buzzards, the scavengers going to eat their dead body, all right? So he's showing you here how the Most High is going to bring his vengeance and judgment upon the nations. And that's the same that's written in Revelation, the 19th chapter. He says he's going to call for the birds of the heaven, the fowls, which are the eagles, the scavengers, coming to eat the dead bodies of all the dead men. Wow. Hold that real quick. Hold that. And let's go to Revelation. All right. Let's go to Revelation, the 19th chapter. Revelation, the 19th chapter. Okay, and we're going to begin here from let me see. We're straight to the point. Okay, start from the 17th verse.
Revelation 19, verse 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great.
See, the Most High call it a supper. These birds gonna eat their belly full, man. Okay, they're gonna eat these nations up, man. These dead bodies. Okay, these eagles, buzzards, all these scavenger birds gonna eat their belly full. So he said that's a great supper. All right, because they're gonna eat like they never ate before, man. Okay, read that verse again.
Revelation 19, verse 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
He said to the great supper, to that supper, okay, unto the great power of Israel. All right, go ahead.
Verse 18, that ye may eat the flesh of kings.
See, that you may eat the flesh of the kings, the rulers. All right, go ahead.
And the flesh of captains.
Flesh of warriors, captains of militaries and armies. Go ahead.
And the flesh of mighty men.
And the flesh of mighty men. One man going down, taking down with an AK-47, knocking down Taliban's, killing everybody, and he's a hero. He got the Purple Heart. Not in this time. He ain't getting no Purple Heart this time. He's going to be supper for those birds. Okay, go ahead.
And the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
Okay, now let's go back now to Isaiah, the 18th chapter now. And let's read Isaiah, the 18th chapter again. And let's read the 6th verse again.
Isaiah 18 and 6. They shall be left together unto the fowls of the mountains and to the beasts of the earth. And the fowls shall summer upon them, and all the beasts of the earth shall winter upon them.
They're going to have a feast upon those dead bodies. All right, go ahead.
Verse 7. In that time shall the present be brought unto the Yahweh of hosts of a people scattered and peeled, and from a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden underfoot, whose land the rivers have spoiled, to the place of the name of the Yahweh of hosts, the Mount Zion.
So the Most High is going to reestablish back in our land of Israel, Mount Zion. So he's going to deliver us from all where we have been scattered, and he's going to beat down our enemies. Okay, now from there, let's go to Isaiah 58. Okay, Isaiah the 58th chapter, and let's begin from the first verse. So the blowing of the trumpets covers the trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and also the Feast of the Tabernacles. It sets up the stage to let you know that all these high holy days are coming into place. So let's go to Isaiah 58, and let's begin from the first verse. Isaiah 58 and 1.
Isaiah 58 and 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
See, so the Most High said, lift up your voice like a trumpet, because our voices is like a trumpet. We're warning the people. We're telling the people. We're letting the people know the events that's going to happen in the earth. All right? So the Most High said, lift up your voice like a trumpet, because a trumpet is a loud sounding instrument. Okay, go ahead.
And show my people their transgressions, the transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. Verse 2. Yet they seek me daily and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness and forsook not the ordinance of their God. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching to God.
That's us. That's us, the people. Those are the things that we do. We take a delight in doing those things. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3. Wherefore have we fasted, say they, and thou seest not? Wherefore have we afflicted, our souls.
See? So, and that's what we're going to do in a couple of days after the memorial blowing the trumpets. It's a fast. All right? So it's covering all these things. The memorial blowing trumpet is setting the stage to let you know of all these 3 high holy days that's coming in succession. So we fast after we do the feast of memorial blowing trumpets, and we go into the Day of Atonement, which is a fast. So it's covering and let you know what we do as a fast and how the fast is supposed to be done. Go ahead.
And thou takest no knowledge? Behold, in the day of your fast ye find pleasure and exact all your labors. Verse 4, behold, ye fast for strife and debate.
Now, some people fast just for debate, not sincerely. So he's speaking against those of us that do these things. All right, go ahead.
And to smite with the fist of wickedness. Ye shall not fast as ye do this day, to make your voice to be heard on high.
When you fast, you're supposed to be, your voice supposed to be heard, making big noise and carrying on and rioting and acting like a beast. When you fast, you're supposed to be humble, quiet. And I see, asking for forgiveness, praying for your sins. Okay, that's the purpose of fasting, to afflict yourself. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 5, is it such a fast that I have chosen?
The Most High didn't chose a fast for that, where you act like a beast, you acting like what you call a nigger. All right, go ahead.
A day for a man to afflict his soul? Is it to bow down his head as a bulrush, and to spread sackcloth and ashes under him? Wilt thou call this a fast and an acceptable day to the Lord?
Right. So what he was saying, people fast, but they're not fasting for the right thing. Then they want to say, "Oh, I'm fasting for the Most High." So he's saying, when you fast, you're supposed to do the things that's right. That's not things that are contrary and say, "Well, I'm fasting." All right. Go ahead.
Verse 6, is not this the fast that I have chosen?
So he said, it's not this the fast that I have chosen. We're in the book of Isaiah 58. Isaiah 58 and the 6th verse. Go ahead.
To loose the bands of wickedness, to undo the heavy burdens, and to let the oppressed go free, and that ye break every yoke.
See, now this is one of the purposes of fasting. All right, go ahead.
Verse 7, is it not to deal thy bread to the hungry,
Mm-hmm.
and that thou bring the poor that are cast out to thy house?
Mm-hmm.
When thou seest the naked, that thou cover him, and that thou hide not thyself from thine own flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 8, then shall thy light break forth as the morning, and thine health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee.
See what fasting does? Fasting brings light, it brings health, okay, and it brings you clarity to the understanding of the Most High. Read that 8th verse again.
Verse 8, then shall thy light break forth.
What is your light? Which is your wisdom, your understanding. All right, because remember the Most High said the law is our what? Wisdom and understanding in the sight of the nations. All right, go ahead.
As the morning, and thine health shall spring forth speedily, and thy righteousness shall go before thee.
Mm-hmm.
The glory of the Yahweh shall be thy reward.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9, then shalt thou call, and the Yahweh shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, here I am.
So when you fast sincerely, the Most High responds to your prayers, and he hears it when the fast is done in sincerity and in truth. All right, go ahead.
If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity.
What does it mean, sir, the putting forth of the finger? What does that mean? The putting forth of the finger, what does that mean? Right. You point at somebody else, but you're not looking at yourself. Right. All right. So you judging them, looking at them, but you're not looking at yourself. That's what it means. The putting forth of the finger. All right. Like in scripture said in Matthew, it said, first take the mote out of your eye before you could judge your brother. All right. So read that verse again.
Verse 9. Then shalt thou call, and Yahweh shall answer. Thou shalt cry, and he shall say, Here I am. If thou take away from the midst of thee the yoke, the putting forth of the finger, and speaking vanity.
And what is the vanity? Speaking lies. Okay, speaking things that you're not supposed to be speaking on the day of your fasting. All right, go ahead.
Verse 10. And if thou draw out thy soul to the hungry, and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall thy light rise in obscurity, and thy darkness be as the noonday.
So the Most High will take away all the darkness and everything that's covering you and give you light in that fasting. All right, go ahead.
Verse 11. And the Yahweh shall guide thee continually, and satisfy thy soul in drought, and make fat thy bones. And thou shalt be like a watered garden, and like a spring of water, whose waters fail not.
Right. All right, go ahead.
Verse 12. And they that shall be of thee shall build the old waste places. Thou shalt rise up the foundations of many generations, and thou shalt be called the repairer of the breach, the restorer of paths to dwell in.
And that's when we get back in our land. That's the preparation of us going back into our land, when we get back into our homeland. All right. Now from there, go to Joel. Joel, the second chapter. Joel, the second chapter, and we're going to begin from the 15th verse. Joel chapter 2 and the 15th verse.
Joel 2. Joel chapter 2, verse 15. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly.
So it says, blow the trumpet in Zion, okay? Sanctify a fast and call a solemn assembly. Go ahead.
Verse 16, gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children, and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. Verse 17, let the priests, the ministers of the Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, spare thy people, O Yahweh, and give not thine heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their God?
And that's what the enemy said. Where is your God now, people? Okay, they make mockery of us. Where is your God now? Okay, go ahead.
Verse 18, then will the Yahweh be jealous for his land and pity his people.
See, now the Most High is going to be jealous for his land, and he's going to pity the people. All right. So this blowing of the trumpets goes into a lot of detailed, significant meaning in the latter days. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 19, yeah, the Yahweh will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine.
So when Most High said I will send you corn and wine, what does that mean? Meaning the Most High is going to replenish us back with the abundance of food. Okay, so it's showing you this is going to be when we get back in our kingdom. We're going to have the best food, the best of everything. Okay, the best wine, the best corn. We're not gonna have no GMOs. Okay, no synthetic food. Everything's gonna be naturally, organically grown by the Most High. All right. When we get back in our kingdom, man. Right now, we eating the worst of everything we could find on the face of the earth. The most defiled and horrific food you ever could think of. Even what they call organic today is a bunch of defiled food. Okay, the best food that we eat today is garbage. Okay, compared to what we're gonna have when we get back in our kingdom. When we eat food back in the kingdom, man, when you eat food, you're gonna taste it different. As soon as you eat it, it's gonna put life and energy back in you. When you eat food, it doesn't put no energy in you. When you eat your food, you're supposed to be energized. You're supposed to be like, yeah, you're supposed to be raised. You're supposed to be, and you can lift a car up when you eat food. But when you eat your food, it doesn't put, you don't feel no energy or life in it. There's no life form in the food we eat. Everything is depleted. All right. So this is a future prophecy that the Most High said he's going to replenish us with the corn and the wine. All right. Go ahead.
And oil.
And oil. Okay, go ahead.
And he shall be satisfied therewith.
See, and we're going to be satisfied there. Okay, when we eat and drink those, we're going to be satisfied. We're going to be licking our chops, man. Okay, enjoying food. Okay, go ahead.
And I will no more make you a reproach among the heathens.
See, this is the future prophecy. We no more going to be a reproach among the heathens. Okay, all praises, man. Go ahead.
Verse 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army.
So the Most High is jumping back, going to the present, the past, and the future. At that time, the northern army was who? The Babylonians. Okay. Now, who's the northern army today's time that we're speaking now? United States military, United States Army. When you bring up a today's standard, the northern army back in those days was the Babylonians under Nebuchadnezzar. Okay, go ahead.
And will drive him into a land barren and desolate.
Okay, into the desert. Okay, and we're going to find out where that was. Go ahead.
With his face toward the east sea.
And where was the East Sea? What was the East Sea? That's the Persian Gulf. In the Persian Gulf, that's the East Sea. All right, go ahead.
And his hinder part toward the utmost sea.
And his hinder part towards the utmost sea. What sea is that? The Mediterranean. Right. You understand? Because the utmost sea is the one that's facing the west. Because the sun sets where? In the west. So the utmost sea was the Mediterranean Sea. All right. Go ahead.
And his stink shall come up.
And his stink shall come up. Meaning the Most High is going to destroy them there. So this northern army, they're going to be dragged down where? In the valley of Jehoshaphat. Okay? That's where the Most High judged all the nation's army back then. Okay? In the time of Jehoshaphat, the Most High had battles there with the kings. And in the future, they're going to be dragged down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, according to the scripture, where the Most High is going to judge them. All right, go ahead.
And his ill savor shall come up because he had done great things.
And the great things that he have done is the great evil that they have done. The stink is going to come up. All right, because the Most High is going to drag them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Let's prove that. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Okay, Revelation. Let's go to the book of Joel first. But, matter of fact, we're right here. Let's go to Joel. All right. Jump down here to read the 9th verse. Joel 3 and 9.
Oh, 3 and 9?
Yeah, Joel 3 and 9. Then we go into Revelation. Then we come back to Joel, the 2nd chapter.
Joel chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles.
So proclaim this among the nations, the Gentiles. Go ahead.
Prepare war.
The Most High saying, prepare war. So they're preparing for war. Okay, go ahead.
Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Let them come up where? They're coming up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right. Malak, get a door? The door. Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords.
So what's a plowshare? Farming tools. So all the conventional weapons that you have made, make these weapons into weapons of war. Make them into missiles, different weapons for war, destructive methods. All right, go ahead.
And your pruning hooks into spears.
Turn all your farming tools into weapons of war. All right, go ahead.
Let the weak say, I am strong.
And who's the weak? When it says, let the weak say I'm strong, who's the weak? Who's the weak? Who's the weak?
Israel. Right now it's us.
Yeah, it's us, but we're not going to fight in the battle like these nations are. Okay? Because remember, when he says, wake up the mighty men, prepare the Gentiles, right? The weak of the other nations that Esau calls third world nations. Those are the weak. Now, these third world nations are possessing the same type of weapons that he has now. Okay? Look at North Korea and all these other nations. Now, they're possessing nuclear weapons. India, they were once weak nations. Now, they're strong nations now. So now they're becoming strong nations. Okay? But before they were weak, 60 years, 100 years, they were considered weak nations. All right? Now, today, they are a threat to the other European powers. That's why they're forming BRICS. All right? So read that verse again.
Verse 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
So now the weak is saying, I'm strong. North Korea is saying, I'm strong now. I got the same thing you have. Okay? China is saying it. India is saying it. Pakistan is saying it. Everybody is saying it. I have weapons too. Iran is saying it. 50 years ago, Iran didn't have nuclear weapons. Not even 40 years ago. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 11. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh.
So the mighty ones are going to come down. The angels are going to come down to fight this battle too. Okay? The angels are going to be involved in this battle too. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
See where they're coming up to? The valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of decision, the valley of judgment. Okay? That's where the Most High is going to bring them to judge them. That's why the Euphrates River is going to be dried up, because they're going to be brought right in that area to fight. Okay? The Most High have a strategic plan for these nations. Go ahead.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
So when it says the harvest is ripe, what does that mean? When it says the harvest is ripe, the time is ripe for the nations to be judged. Just like when mango season comes around, time to pick the mango, it's time for the nations to be picked now. All right? Malak, the door is locked. Go ahead. Go ahead. What verse you left off in?
Verse 13.
13. Read 13 again.
Verse 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
Anybody know what's a sickle, right? A sickle is a weapon that's used for farming to cut wheat and everything like that. Okay, go ahead.
Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Verse 14. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Yahweh is near in the valley of decision.
See, All right. Now from there, go to Revelation 16, and we come back to Joel, the 2nd chapter. Revelation, the 16th chapter. Revelation 16, and start here from the 12th verse.
Revelation 16, verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up.
So that's the valley of decision. That's the valley of decision where the Most High is going to judge him, in the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, go ahead.
That the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. Verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. Verse 14. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of Yahweh Almighty.
So that's the great battle that they'll be being prepared for. So now let's go back to Joel, the 2nd chapter, and read that 20th verse again.
20. Joel chapter 2, verse 20. For I will remove far off from you the northern army.
So when you bring up to today's term, the Northern Army is the army of the United States of America. Whether it's its military, whether it's its Navy, Air Force, Marines, whatever branch of military, they're going down to fight down in the valley of decision. Okay, go ahead.
And will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part towards the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up.
And the stink, okay, of all the dead bodies. Okay, go ahead.
And his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things.
He have done great evils and great deception in the earth. Go ahead.
Verse 21, fear not, O land, be glad and rejoice, for the Yahweh will do great things.
See, the Most High is going to do great things for us. That's the reason why it's being done. Everything that's being done is for us. That's what the whole thing is about. It's to bring the nations down and to reestablish us as a people and a nation back in our land, to be the people of the Most High, to rule this earth. That's what the whole thing is about. That's the Most High's final plan for us. And people talking about, oh no, why? It has to happen. Let it be. Like Bob Marley said, how long shall they kill our prophet? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. That's what we're doing. We're fulfilling the book. It has to be fulfilled. It has to be done. Let it be done. I tell you who we are under the sun. All right? So all this has to be done just for us, man. That's the glory of the Most High. And that's the mysteries of all things being unfolded. All this is being done just for us and for the Most High name to be established, reestablished in the earth. So the world can know who is the Most High. That's why it's being done. So I have no problem. Let it be your will, oh Father. I ain't stepping in nobody's way. Let it go down. I'm not praying, oh no, don't let it happen. Let it happen. Let it be. Just let it be. Bring it on. I ain't trying to stop nothing. For what? Oh, let there be peace. No, I don't want no peace. The Most High saying gonna be no peace. All right, go ahead. Praying for peace. Stupid. Go ahead.
Verse 22, be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring, for the tree beareth her fruit.
This, after all this great destruction, all this is going to happen. The tree is going to bear its fruit, and it's going to bear some good fruits, not no sour fruits. like, this ain't got no taste. When you eat it, you're like, woo, you're gonna get life in you, man. You feel like you're gonna grow an inch more when you eat that food. You're gonna feel the life in you, man. Okay, when we eat that food back in the future kingdom. All right, go ahead.
The fig tree and the vine do yield their strength.
See, the fig tree. Why? The Most High is naming off all these essential fruits. The fig tree and the vine do yield their strength. What's the vines? The grapes, the olives, the fig tree. And a fig tree is a very nutritious fruit, man. When you look up the essential of the fig and you read the nutritious value of it, you will say, wow, you see why the Most High put emphasis on these things in the Bible. And that's why when Yahweh, like I read last week, when Yahweh went to the fig tree and it wasn't bearing nothing but only leaves, Yahweh curse that sucker, because that was the season it was supposed to be bearing figs. And it wasn't bearing no fig. He said, what? You're useless, man. Curse it. Just with it, man. Okay? Yes.
When it say yield their strength, it's not just talking about giving back a lot of grapes, but it's talking about giving that vitality.
The vitality, the whole spectrum of it, man. You understand? The way it was in the beginning, man. You know, free from all that pesticide and insects destroying it. It's going to grow naturally, man. Okay? From the dew, from the waters, man. Okay? And when you eat it, man, you're going to taste it. You're going to taste the nutritious value of what a fruit is, man. You eat that, man, you probably ain't going to be hungry for the next couple of hours, man, just by eating that. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 23, be glad then, ye children of Zion.
So the Most High said, be glad then, ye children of Zion. Go ahead.
And rejoice in the Yahweh, your power.
Mm-hmm.
For he had given you the former rain moderately.
See, he's going to give us the former rain moderately. He's going to give us the abundance of the rain, the last rain and the beginning rain. Okay? And real good rain, man. Not no acid rain. The garbage we get in now, man. Okay? Go ahead.
And he will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain, and the latter rain in the first month.
See, in the first month, which is what? The Passover. That's the spring rain and that rain that comes after the spring. Okay? He's going to give you the rain to bless your crops, man. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 24, and the floors shall be full of wheat.
So showing you, man, the abundance of food is going to be brought back. The floor shall be full of wheat. Natural, good, organic wheat. Not no GMO wheat made from Monsanto. All that crap is going to be destroyed. Okay, go ahead.
And the fats shall overflow with wine and oil.
Check that out, man. It said you're going to be overflowing with wine and oil, man. That's going to be a lot of grapes, man. A lot of grapes. Okay? And you're going to drink that good grape, that good wine. Okay? When you take a sip, you're going to like, yes. That's what got Noah drunk. When Noah drank that good wine, Noah's like, yeah. Yeah. Okay? That's what got Lot drunk too. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 25, and I will restore to you the years that the locusts had eaten.
See what the Most High is saying? I'm going to restore to you what the locusts have eaten. And you know locusts love to eat up all your crops. So the Most High said, I'm going to restore all that stuff that have been destroyed from you. All right? Go ahead.
The cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palm worm, my great army, which I sent among you.
And the Most High sent these pestilence, these insects, to destroy our crops when we disobeyed the Most High. The Most High got ways of punishing us, man. But when we obeyed the Most High, he didn't allow none of these insects to destroy our crops. He allowed our crops to grow untouched from these insects, where you didn't have to use no pesticide to prevent insects from destroying your crops. But whenever you sin, the Most High allow these worms to come and destroy your crops. So that's why it's beneficial for us to obey and keep the Most High laws.
You also
Yes.
call it
his army, because they're doing his bidding. You understand? And so showing you the land works in harmony with us when we work in harmony with the Most High. Once you go against the Most High, the land becomes adverse to you. You understand? So keeping the Most High laws and commandments is very important and essential. That's a spiritual vibration and union between us and the entire universe. Everything works harmonious with us when we keep the Most High laws and commandments. Once you go against it, everything goes against you. It's an adverse effect. All right? Go ahead.
Make the word for our sake.
For our sakes, like he said in Apocrypha, he made the word for our sakes. All right? All praises, man. Go ahead.
Verse 26, and he shall eat in plenty.
Ooh, see, the Most High said, we're going to eat in plenty. And you know Israel loves to eat. Israel loves to eat. We're going to eat in plenty. Okay, go ahead.
And be satisfied.
And we're going to be satisfied. We're going to lay back, man. Kick back. Okay, go ahead.
And praise the name of Yahweh, your power.
And we're going to praise the name of the Most High. We're going to blow up the trumpet. We're going to dance. We're going to hit those drums. We're going to rejoice, and we're going to praise the Most High, man, when we get back in our land. When the Most High delivers us out of this hell, man. Go ahead.
That had dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed.
See, after this year, we're never going to be ashamed again. Never. Never again. And that goes in accordance with the blowing of the trumpets in the future. All right, go ahead.
Verse 27, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Yahweh, your power, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed.
See, Most High said again, we shall never be ashamed. Never be ashamed. All right, go ahead.
Verse 28, and it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit.
And this is the time we live in where the Most High is going to pour out his spirit. All right, go ahead.
Verse 30, and I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and the terrible day of the Yahweh come.
Right. So that's speaking of the day of judgment. All right. Continue.
Verse 32, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Yahweh shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Yahweh had said, and in the remnant whom the Yahweh shall call.
See, so when they read that scripture, it shall come to pass, whosoever call in the name of the Lord. It's not talking about everybody. It's talking about the children of Israel that's willing to seek and return back to the Most High. All right. Okay. So from there, go to 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. All right. 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter, in accordance to the blowing of the trumpets, the significance of it. All right. 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. First Thessalonians 4, and start from the 13th verse.
1 Thessalonians 4, verse 13. But I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep.
All right. So it's speaking about those that are physically asleep and those that are spiritually asleep. All right. Go ahead.
That ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Yahushua died and rose again, even so, them also which sleep in Yahushua will Yahweh bring with him.
So those that died in Yahushua, they're coming back. When Yahushua return with the angels, they're gonna be whizzing up first. Like Thursday made what? A year since Karazala passed. All right, a year since he passed. A year went by so fast already. All right. When Yahushua and the angels come, he's gonna be the first to be resurrected. He's gonna be resurrected when that trumpet is blown. All right. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Yahweh, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Yahweh shall not prevent them which are asleep.
We're not going to prevent those that are asleep from being resurrected and being with Yahushua when he comes to deliver us. All right, go ahead.
For the Yahweh himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Yahweh, and the dead in Yahushua shall rise first.
See, and they're going to blow that trumpet. That trumpet is the regathering of Israel and also the resurrection of those that are dead. And they're going to blow that trumpet. All right, go ahead.
Verse 17, then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds.
So we're going to be brought to be taken up in the chariots. All right, the clouds is the chariots. Okay, go ahead.
To meet the Yahweh in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Yahweh. Wherefore, comfort one another.
So we're not going to be up there forever up there. It's just for that period of time while the destruction is taking place. A Christian will think, oh, we're going to be up there in heaven with the Lord. No, it's just for that period of time while the destruction and those missiles are being blasted off and this place is being burned up. Yeah.
So are we going to be just in the chariot, or are we going to be where the Most High dwell? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're going to be in the chariots, seeing the destruction of this baby.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to be watching out, looking out the window, looking at the destruction of this place. No, after the destruction, we don't say how long, but we're not going to be up there. Probably after the destruction, then we're going to be brought down and placed into the wilderness. But we're going to see the destruction of this thing. We're going to be the scripture. We're going to be as doves to the windows, looking out, seeing this destruction. All right, it's going to be a hell of a destruction, man. Don't want to be here. That's why it's called the second death, man. That's the lake of fire. The lake of fire is destruction of this place on fire. All you're going to see is this whole place burning up. Even the water is going to be burning on fire. Okay? That's going to be a hell of a day, man.
That's just the first one.
That's why it says, blessed is he that parteth in the first resurrection. Because you don't want to be here in that second death, man. That's going to be a hell of an ordeal, man. Okay? It says the elements going to melt with fervent heat in that day too. That's why the angels have to come and take us up, and we have to be up in those ships to protect us, man. Because everything that's here in this earth is going to be burnt up. Every single thing is going to be burned and turned back to ashes, to dust. Solid steel, everything is going to melt right back down to ashes and dust. Okay? It says it's going to be a lake of fire. When you're looking up and looking down, all you're going to see is fire. The whole entire land, the waters, the mountains, everything, man. It's going to be a hell of a destruction, man. Yeah, because the bombs, the angels going to use their destruction too. It's going to be hell, man. And then plus all the oil that's here, all the different electrical piping undergrounds, everything. This whole city is a damn is a sitting time bomb. All right? And it's going to go up in fire, baby. And fire. And that's what John saw. All right? And that's the day that nobody wants to be here, man. Okay? Okay, so from there, go to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. All right? 1 Corinthians 15:51.
1 Corinthians 15, verse 51.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I show you a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
We shall not all sleep,
See, we all not gonna sleep. Okay, go ahead.
but we shall all be changed.
But we're gonna be changed. We have to be changed. All right, go ahead.
In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye,
In a moment, in a twinkling of the eye. It's gonna be that quick. Go ahead.
at the last trump.
At the last trump. That last trump that the angel is gonna trump. Go ahead.
For the trumpet shall sound,
See, the trumpet shall sound. The angel's gonna blow that trumpet. Go ahead.
and the dead shall be raised incorruptible.
So when that trumpet is blown, it's gonna raise the dead out of the grave. That's gonna be a spiritual sound and signal that's gonna raise the dead. All right. That trumpet is gonna be a spiritual blast. Just like when we blow the shofar on the trumpet, it ain't nothing. When the angels sound that trumpet, it's gonna be a blast, man. It's gonna resonate deep down in your spirit. All right. It's gonna be a trump, a blow out of this world, man. That your hair and your head is gonna stand up, man. All the hair and your skin is gonna stand up when you hear that trumpet, man. Your ears gonna tingle when you hear that trumpet. Your heart gonna beat faster. Okay, that's gonna be a sound, man. That's man. It's gonna be. I can't even explain it, man. Okay, but read that part again. It said the trumpet shall sound.
For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
Mm-hmm. That's it. All right. So I just want to short about the memorial blowing trumpets, the significance of it. All right. What's the lead up to the future of it, and why it was done in the past. Okay, and why it's being used today. But it has a future significant meaning. It also represents the regathering of Israel in the last days, where the angel is coming to gather Israel, and they're gonna blow that trumpet to let the world know that I'm coming to deliver the people of the Most High, and I'm coming to destroy your rulership and kingdom in this earth. So the angels are gonna sound that trumpet. They're gonna sound that alarm, and while the angels sound the alarm, they're gonna sound their raggedy alarm system. And they're going to say, this is not a test. This is an actual state of emergency. The United States of America is under attack from unseen forces. Okay? They're going to sound that alarm, boy. They're going to blow that alarm, and the angels are going to sound theirs. And they're going to say, we're coming for you, baby. And we're coming for our people. All right? The angels say, we're coming for our brothers here in Babylon the Great and wherever they are scattered. All right? So that's the significance of the trumpets. All right. It was used to sound an alarm, to warn the people and to inform the people. But in that day, the angel's going to sound that trumpet. All right. I want to show you something also too about the disciples, man, because the disciples suffered some horrific death, man, and they sacrificed their life for us, for this Bible to be published and written. They sacrificed their lives, man. All right. And they're going to get a great reward for that, man. And what we're going through is light compared to what they suffered, man. I'm going to describe some of the things that they suffered, man. All right. So let's go to cover a few scriptures, and I'm going to show you some things that they suffered. Let's go to the book of, let's go to St. John, the 21st chapter, St. John 21. And Yahushua made this statement about John. All right. I want to see if you all could understand what he meant by this. Let's go to St. John, the 21st chapter, and we're going to begin from the 15th verse. St. John 21 and 15.
John 21, verse 15. So when they had dined, Yahushua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these?
So Yahushua told Peter, Peter, do you love me, Peter? Now, Yahushua was doing this to see where Peter was, where his mindset was. All right. Well, he did it 3 times. Okay, go ahead.
He said unto him, yeah, other one, thou knowest that I love
He
thee.
said, you know I love you. Go ahead.
He said unto him, feed my lambs.
Yahushua said, feed my lambs. Yahushua said, feed my sheep. Go ahead.
Verse 16, he said to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, yea, other one, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, feed my sheep.
Feed my sheep. All right, go ahead.
Verse 17, he said unto him the third time,
So he said 3 times to him. All right, go ahead.
Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, lovest thou me? And he said unto him, other one, thou knowest all things, thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, feed my sheep.
What does he mean when he said feed my sheep? What did he mean by that? When he said feed my sheep? Right, go and teach. Go and feed my people knowledge of the scriptures. And that's what they did. They went up and they fed the knowledge of the scriptures of life and salvation to our people. And this gospel was spread all throughout the world. Okay, so the white man didn't write this Bible, he only published it. It was our fathers and our brothers that wrote this book off of their life and death and their testimony that they wrote, man. They sacrificed their life for us, man. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 18, verily, verily, I say unto thee, when thou wast young, thou girdest thyself and walkest whither thou wouldest. But when thou shalt be old, thou shalt stretch forth thine hands, and another shall gird thee, and carry thee whither thou wouldest not.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 19, this spake he, signifying by what death he should glorify Yahweh. And when he had spoken this, he said unto him, follow me.
And I'm going to show you how Peter died. Okay, but I'm going to read this here. I'm going to show you how a lot of disciples died, man. They died some vicious death, man. You know, one of the apostles, they threw him off the temple in Jerusalem, threw him off the building, man, about 100 feet, right? From about 100 feet up, threw him off the building, man. And when he dropped, he wasn't dead. And when they got there, they took a club and just started clubbing him to death, man. They suffered a lot of things, man. That's vicious, man. All right, go ahead.
Verse 20, then Peter, turning about, seeth the disciple whom Yahushua loved.
And who was that disciple that Yahushua loved? John. All right, go ahead.
Following, which also leaned on his breast at supper, and said, other one, which is he that betrayed thee?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 21, Peter seeing him said to Yahushua, other one, and what shall this man do?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 22, Yahushua said unto him, if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 23, then went this saying abroad among the brethren, that that disciple should not die. Yet Yahushua said not unto him, he shall not die.
So what did Yahushua mean when he said he shall not die? But let's read the whole thing. Go ahead.
But if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee?
Mm-hmm.
Verse 24, this is the disciple which testified of these things and wrote these things, and we know that his testimony is true.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 25, and there are also many other things which Yahushua did, the which, if they should be written, everyone, I suppose that even the world itself could not contain the books that should be written.
See? So it's a lot of
Amen.
books that the disciples wrote about Yahushua, man. It's a lot. Okay? But what did Yahushua mean when he said that disciple shall not die? We know all the disciples died eventually, but what did he mean when he said that disciple shall not die? That's true. That's true. But I want to read something to you. All right? Because all the disciples were butchered and slaughtered to death, excepting John. Yes, John was tortured. John was put into a boiling pot of water and boiled. Then after that, he was banned to the Isle of Patmos. But he was the only disciple that did not die. He died finally of old age in the island of Patmos. But all the rest of them was killed by either the Caesars, by our people, or by the nations. John was the only one that wasn't killed. So that's why Yahushua said that disciple shall not die. He was not going to die the death that all the other apostles died of. You understand? So let's go to the book of Hebrews, the 11th chapter, Hebrews 11:36, and I'm going to read off to you how some of the disciples died. Right, Hebrews, let's go to Hebrews 11:36.
Hebrews 11:36, and others had trial of cruel mockings.
See, some had what? Trials of cruel mockings. Okay, people made mockery of them, brought them before trials, mocked them, ridiculed them. All right, go ahead.
And scourgings.
And scourgings, whip, chastise, whip with cat o' nine tails on it. Okay, with little spikes on it, man. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, moreover of bonds and imprisonment.
And some were in bonds and imprisonment. Paul went through a lot of stuff too, man. Okay, Paul was stoned, was locked up in prison. Okay, go ahead.
37, they were stoned.
See, who was stoned? Stephen. Stephen was stoned. Remember they stoned Stephen to death? Okay, go ahead.
They were sawn asunder.
Peter was sawn asunder. They cut Peter in half, turned upside down and cut him in half with a saw. That's a vicious death, man. Okay, go ahead.
Were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented.
Mm-hmm.
38, of whom the world has not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth.
Mm-hmm. These are all the things that they suffered, man. The prophets, apostles, disciples. All right, go ahead.
Verse 39, and these all having obtained a good report.
See, and all of them having obtained a good report. All right, go ahead.
Through faith.
Through faith, go ahead.
Received not the promise.
They didn't receive the promise yet. All right, so that's why when Yahushua come back, they're going to have a great reward in the end, man. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 40, Yahweh having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect.
Okay, read the 12th chapter now. 12 and 1. Hebrews 12 and 1.
Okay. Hebrews 12 and 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses.
It's talking about all these people that died before us. These are the great witnesses. All right, go ahead.
Let us lay aside every weight.
Let us lay aside every weight. All right, because we still have it kind of easier compared to what they did, even though we suffered, right? But they suffered more than what we did, man. They suffered death. You understand? Tortured, man. Okay, go ahead.
And the sin which doth not easily beset us, and let us not run with patience.
No, let us run with patience. Yeah, we got to run with patience. He said, let us run with patience.
Let us run. Okay. The race that is set before us.
And what is the race that's set before us? This is the race here. We're in this race here to continue to the end. So we have to run this race with what? Patience. Because you're running a what? You're not running a sprint, you're running a what? A marathon, a long distance run. So you have to run this race with pace. You have to pace yourself for this long distance haul. All right? Go ahead.
Verse 2, looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith.
See, who's the beginning and who's the end of our faith? Yahushua. He's the author and the finisher of our faith. Okay, go ahead.
Who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross.
He endured the cross. He suffered being put on that cross, being put to death, man. Okay, go ahead.
Despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Yahweh.
All right. Now from there, go to Matthew 20. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where it says looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith. When you say the author and the finisher, if you go back into Revelation, can you pair that up with Alpha and Omega?
Yes. Right. Right. And it's also saying that you got to look to him because he's the one that has the keys of everything for you. He's the author of everything started from the beginning. He's the one that paved the way for us in the beginning, and he's going to pave the way for us in the end. He has the keys to the door to let you in, and he's the only one that's going to deliver us in the end of this. So you got to look to him. He's the author, and he's the finisher of your faith. That's what your faith lies on. The power of Yahushua. If you want to look at anything, look towards him. If you can't see, looking at to the other prophets and apostles, well then look to Yahushua, if that's the case. All right. So from there, go to Matthew's the 20th chapter. I want to show you something because when I'm going to show you here how the apostles died, man, you'll say, damn, we ain't suffered nothing when you saw what they suffered, man. Okay, Matthew's 20, and we're going to start from the 20th verse.
Matthew chapter 20, verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping him and desiring a certain thing of him.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 21, and he said unto her, what wilt thou? She said unto him, grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on thy right hand and the other on the left in thy kingdom.
He said, listen, man, I want my two sons to be sitting in the kingdom with you, man. One on the left and one on the right hand. All right, go ahead.
Verse 22, but Yahushua answered and said, ye know not what ye ask. Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?
What did he mean by that? Yeah, are you able to go through what I'm going to go through, the death and the things I'm going to go through? Are you able to handle that? Go ahead.
They say unto him, we are able.
He said, yeah, we are able. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 23, and he said unto them, ye shall drink indeed of my cup.
He said, yeah, indeed, you're going to drink of this cup. You're going to taste this cup. You're going to drink of it, and you're going to drink the last of this cup. Okay? Yeah.
Is he speaking of that sacrifice that, like in Romans 12:1, that say your body becomes a sacrifice?
No, he talking about the death. He said the death that he tastes, they're going to taste it, but not the same way that he tasted. But you're going to taste of the death that I'm going to go through. You're going to suffer the same thing too. That's what he was telling them. You're going to suffer that same type of death. All right? Because remember, Yahushua was crucified and put up on that cross, tortured there for hours. they went through the same thing too. And we're going to read about how some of them got killed and how it died. Because remember, Herod killed James too. All right? Okay, go ahead.
And be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with,
Mhm.
but to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give,
He said, I can't give that, but you surely going to taste of what I taste. All right, go ahead.
but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father.
Only the Most High could do that. He said, I can't do that. All right, go ahead.
Verse 24. And when the 10 heard it, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren.
Okay, go to Acts 14:22. Book of Acts 14:22.
Acts chapter 14, verse 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith,
To continue in the faith, go ahead.
and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Yahweh.
See, much tribulation, we're going to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. Okay, now from there, go to Revelation, the 20th chapter. Revelation 20 and the 4th and 5th verse.
Revelation 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast.
Now stop right there. Now he's showing you those that died before him, all right, that will witness to this, and he's going to show those that's going to die in the future for the witness of this. Because during the time that he was alive, the mark of the beast wasn't around. All right, that had to come in the future. So read that part again where he says, read the whole thing again.
Verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahushua 1,000 years.
That's going to be in the future where we're going to reign with Yahweh for 1,000 years. All right. So all those that will be beheaded and killed are coming back to reign with Yahweh. Those that died before the apostles, during the time of the apostles, and those are going to die in this time. Because some of us are going to die in these times too, but we're coming back. All right. So now let me show you something here. All right. I got this here. You could get it from a book. I forgot exactly the source, but I'm gonna get the source because let me show you this here. Let me read this here to you about okay. Now let me read this here. Okay, Paul. I'm gonna start with Paul. Okay, Paul was tortured and then beheaded by the evil emperor Nero at Rome. See, he was beheaded, okay, in AD 67. Paul endured a lengthy imprisonment, which allowed him to write his many epistles to the churches he had formed throughout the Roman Empire. These letters, which taught many of the foundational doctrines of what they call Christianity, form a large portion of the New Testament. All right. Matthias, the apostle chosen to replace Judas Iscariot, was stoned and then beheaded. So a lot of the apostles were beheaded, man. You know, they used to get your head chopped off, man. All right. Back then, they did it viciously too, man. Okay. Jude was killed with arrows when he refused to deny his faith in Yahushua. They killed him with arrows. All right. It said Thomas was stabbed with a spear in India. All right. During one of his missionary trips to establish the church in the subcontinent. So when he went to India, he was stabbed with a spear. All right. Andrew was crucified on an X-shaped cross in Patras, Greece. After being whipped severely by 7 soldiers, they tied his body to the cross with cords to prolong his agony. His followers reported that when he was led toward the cross, Andrew saluted it in these words, "I have long desired and expected this happy hour." The cross has been consecrated by the body of Hamashiach hanging on it. He continued to preach to his tormentors for 2 days until he expired. So he probably was cursing the hell out of them. Yeah, you kill me now, but I'm coming back. All right. And Bartholomew, also known as Nathaniel, was a missionary to Asia. He witnessed for Yahushua in present-day Turkey. Bartholomew was martyred for his preaching in Armenia, which is in Turkey, where he was flayed to death by a whip. The whipping to death with a whip. All right. All right. And James, the son of Zebedee, was a fisherman by trade when Yahushua called him to a lifetime of ministry. As a strong leader of the church, James was beheaded at Jerusalem. See that? The Roman officer who guarded James watched in amazement as James defended his faith at his trial. Later, the officer walked beside James to the place of execution. Overcome by conviction, he declared his new faith to the judge and knelt beside James to accept beheading as a Christian. So he offered to be beheaded too. The one of the officers that was there to behead James. So a lot of them were beheaded, man. Get your head chopped off, man. And they use an axe to do that back then, man. They put you down there or use a sword, or the Arabs use a sword, and they say this long prayer in the name of Allah, Akbar, Allah, Muhammad, Allah, Allah, and they take a sword and chop your head off. That's the same way, man. That's a vicious death, man. Okay? And it says, James, because you had 2 James. James, the leader of the church in Jerusalem, was thrown over 100 feet down from the southeast pinnacle of the temple when he refused to deny his faith in Hamashiach. When they discovered that he survived the fall, his enemies beat James to death with a fuller's club. They beat him with a club to death, man, after he fell from the building. All right. And this was the same pinnacle where Satan had taken Yahushua during the temptation. All right. Peter, he was crucified upside down on an X-shaped cross. According to church tradition, it was because he told his tormentors that he felt unworthy to die in the same way that Yahushua had died. He said, turn me upside down and kill me. All right. Now, John faced martyrdom when he was boiled in a huge basin of boiling oil during a wave of persecution in Rome. However, he was miraculously delivered from death. John was then sentenced to the mines on the prison island of Patmos. He wrote his prophetic book of Revelation on Patmos. The Apostle John was later freed and returned to serve as Bishop of Edessa in modern Turkey. He died as an old man, the only apostle to die peacefully. See? So that's why Yahushua said, that apostle disciple will not die. Meaning he wasn't going to die like all the rest of the apostles. John was the only one that died at old age. All right. Luke was hanged in Greece as a result of his tremendous preaching to the lost. He was hanged in Greece. All right. Mark died in Alexandria, Egypt, after being dragged by horses through the streets until he was dead. They drag him in the streets by horses, man. All right. So they got a lot to pay for, man. Okay. Matthew suffered martyrdom in Ethiopia, killed by a sword wound. Okay. So when Yahweh shall return with the angels, it's going to be a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth. There's a lot to pay for, man. Okay. So the apostles and the prophets, they made a sacrifice for us, man, for this book to be written and for us to be kept in these last days. And for those of our people that make light of it and think this is a joke, they're going to pay for it, man. That's why Yahweh Shai said, every idle word that man speak, he shall be held account for in the last days. This book wasn't written in vain. This was written for our final salvation and eternal life in the end of this. All right? And we have to respect the Most High word, man. Okay? And those that make light of it, you're going to taste of death. All right? So all honors and praise goes to the Most High and for those that paved the way for us, man. The apostles, the prophets, the disciples that laid down their life and sacrificed their life for us, man. All right? And we have to give it to them, man. And that's why the Most High said he's going to remember the blood of those that were sacrificed and killed. All right? They became martyrs. All right? So with that, I say shalom and death and destruction to all our enemies, man.